Hello everyone and welcome to another Halloween Sees It review. Tonight I am reviewing Shaky Manor, the Tilted Treasure Hunt. It is a game for 2 to 4 players, ages 7 and up, published by Blue Orange Games. They continue to put out these really fun Dexterity family games, and this one is no exception. It is very, very fun. And it is a quick-paced one, and as most of them are, a race of sorts. And so let's go ahead and show you what comes in the box and talk about the components, the gameplay, and what I think of it. So first of all, the box, as you can see, has these plastic little insert plastic windows in the box, and so that you can actually see the components through the box, which really helps, I think, probably them with, shelf presence and people being able to really kind of play the game with it still in the box itself, which is really cool. Some may be concerned, that something would happen, and as you take those out, you'd lose pieces or different things like that. The plastic windows in here are glued in really well, so I guess potentially it could be issues, but I haven't seen any issues, and it seems to me that they would be able to hold up pretty well. So that's the box, kind of a unique box where they show you what's inside. So you'll have 4 sets of these little boxes. They have Shaky Manor printed on the back. The box, the outside of the box and the main box portion comes as is. You will punch out these little side room pieces and then kind of squish them down there into the box. There's little ridges on the side that kind of keep those in place. And it works pretty well for the most part. If you get a little rambunctious or different things, the pieces can come up a little bit. But generally speaking, very, very nice. Good quality components again. So you have 4 of those box lids with all the room dividers, as you can see there. You have this deck of cards with a room color associated on one side, and different objects, different variations of objects put on the other side. So I've laid out here the different components that come with each of the 4 sets that you get in the box here. And so each one, you have, each set will have a little meeple guy, 3 treasure chests, 2 ghosts, 2 snakes, 2 spiders, and 2 eyeballs. And all very, very good quality. They're all wood, other than the spiders are a plastic. You can see the legs kind of move around. I can bend it so it's not a real hard plastic. But very, very fun, very cool components. Very impressed with the wood components here. If you can see that, so it's not just like painted or anything. It's actually kind of carved into the wood and then painted. And so I think it's really, really nice looking, and I think it will hold up really well. If you look at that eye, it's etched into it, and I just think it looks really, really cool. So very, very fun components, and we'll talk about those a little bit more with the gameplay. The rule book is really just a rule sheet in this case, front and back. Again, as you can see too, this isn't really explaining the game, and really it has 2 different games within this, or 2 different ways to play with the components. Okay, so I'm going to show you both real quick. And the first one is you take your little meeple and you take your little treasure chest and you deal them in there, and you take one ghost. Okay, that's all you're going to start with. And your opponent to the right of you is going to shake it up, mix it up for you, and give it back. And they will also start with this same setup as far as one meeple, 3 treasure chests, and 1 ghost. Then in this game, what you will do is you'll have the cards actually like this, and shuffle those up. And then when everyone's ready, everyone's kind of shaken up and reordered things and spread things out. Then you flip over the card, and immediately everyone's trying to get their meeple, little guy, and the treasure chests into that colored room. So I'm trying to go into the blue colored room here. And so I'm going to shift these around, trying to get all of the components, the meeples and the treasure chests, into the blue room. Boom, I got it. As soon as you're done, you can say done. The person to the right will check and make sure you have it. And if you do, then you get the card. The first 1 to 5 cards wins. The thing is, and I really like this portion of the game. So, well, first of all, let me explain. So I had those in there, right? And that's the concept. Well, the other thing is this does not count. So it has to be just the meeple and the 3 treasure chests and nothing else. So the ghost in there would cause us some trouble. So we need to get him outside of the room for that to be a winning scenario, right? So then after that, I claim the card, and the person to the right of me is then going to take one of the components here, anyone that they want, and place it into the box. And then we'll play another round, and the person to the right again will mix it up. But as you can see, it's going to become much more difficult as more and more things get added to the box. And so over time, you'll get a snake, and you might get a spider, and you might get another eyeball. And so as time goes on, it becomes more and more difficult, which I think is a very clever mechanic, because as a person gets closer and closer to winning, it's going to become more and more difficult for that individual. And so it's a very nice balancing technique, and it works really, really well. The other game is everyone takes all of their components and sticks it in there. So everyone has everything. And instead of the cards oriented that way, we have them this way, and we have them shuffled up. And what happens is I'm going to flip this over, and this, I need to get all of these pieces together in that room, and only these pieces. So 3 treasure chests, 2 ghosts, a spider, and the meeple, all in here. If there's a snake in there, it's no good. If I'm missing one of the treasure chests, it's no good. I have to get that exactly in that room. And this variant is a lot more challenging because you start with everything in there, and it can be very, very challenging, but very, very fun. And I want to just talk about the components and the different things that they put in here. And I think it's pretty brilliant what they've done here. So the meeple and the treasure chests, and really all the wood components, other than the eyeballs, have a similar kind of friction to them, right? Because they're all wood on the cardboard. And so these pieces all kind of slide around about the same. The only thing is the ghost is very similar to the guy, so he's small and can kind of easily get through rooms, which can be challenging in its own right. The treasure chests are a little bit smaller. The snakes, however, are a little bit bigger, and they can actually end up kind of blocking rooms, become a hassle that way. The spiders are unique and interesting because the plastic on the cardboard doesn't slide as easily as the other wood components. So they move around a little bit slower. Then you have the eyeballs, which, since they're these little balls rolling around, they move around very, very easily, and you can easily get them out of a room, but they can easily come back into the room when you don't want them to. So it's interesting. All of them have kind of a different element to them. And again, just very, very nice quality components on it. And very, very fun game. It can go very quickly. And I like that the game can kind of scale, and there's 2 different ways that you can play. Again, the first variant where you start out with just the meeple and the 3 treasure chests and the ghost, I think works the best with smaller kids. My kids are younger, and that worked a lot better. Again, because as people win cards, they're getting more and more pieces. It's becoming more and more difficult for them, allowing the kids to kind of catch up. And yeah, but both are really, really fun. And it's just a really well-designed game. The components are all great. So another great dexterity game from Blue Orange. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this one, and that is how Lou sees it.